It can be uncomfortable to talk about, but eventually it is something that we all must face. So, what is the best way to go about planning for the end of life? Whether through a funeral or other service, Fox 15's Michael Dupre is taking a look at what can be done to budget for the inevitable to ease the burden on your loved ones.
It doesn't have to be morbid to consider and plan for the day that yourself or a loved one is given a funeral. And if you're looking to save some money, local funeral directors say there are ways to cut costs without cutting the quality of a memorial service. The sight of caskets and urns can invoke a feeling of dread for some people. Many of us don't like to think about the idea of death, but it's something we'll all go through.
It doesn't matter if it's sudden or tragic or even anticipated. A death is a death. And the loss of your spouse or parent or sibling still hurts, no matter if you were expecting it or not.
And whether or not it was expected, local funeral directors say one of the most important things that they can do to help families through the process is simply talking with them.
The first thing we do is listen. We walk families through a time of learning about their experience and who their loved one was.
From there, they say it's important to know what type of service that you're looking for. Modern or traditional, burial or cremation.
30 years ago, a funeral was a funeral. Today, it's not so much cookie cutter. There's a lot of variations, and what may work well for one family does not work well for another family.
And all of those choices will affect the final price.
At least in the Muskegon County area, you're looking between $3,000 and $5,000 for a cremation memorial service. On the burial side, you're looking anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000.
Directors say to make sure that you shop around and discuss exactly what kind of a service that you want for yourself or a loved one.
This is a big decision for a family, not only financially, but we're going to be taking care of their loved ones at what might be one of the most traumatic times in their family's history.
And because a family-owned funeral home is part of the community, they say it's possible they can provide some things that a larger national company may not be able to.
Maybe we're going to make some concessions to the price because we know this family, we know the situation.
If people have limited resources, we'll discuss that with them. We try to work with them.
And if you're really in need of some financial help, they say you may be able to get some aid from the government.
The Kent County Department of Social Services, which is actually the state, will provide some burial benefits, but they're very basic.
And remember that it's a federal law for all funeral homes to give you a price list of their services.
Every funeral home is mandated by the Federal Trade Commission to have a general price list.
You can go from one funeral home to another, and while the general price list may look different cosmetically, they should all contain basically the same information.
Funerals can also be planned for. In fact, directors and insurance agents say in many ways, arranging services ahead of time is the best route to take.
Pre-meeting your funeral ceremony is probably the best way to save money. It is very easy to pre-arrange a funeral with any local funeral home.
This is kind of like a savings fund, allowing a person a number of years to pay for the total cost. You can also take out a funeral insurance plan. That covers the entire service through premiums.
An insurance-funded plan, and an insurance-funded plan will cover the anticipated cost of the funeral, but it also is paid out in a monthly premium, which of course is much less than paying for the entire funeral at the time of need.
Experts say saving money isn't the only benefit of pre-planning a funeral.
Funeral planning or a prepaid funeral is considered exempt as an asset by the state of Michigan for Medicaid.
Along the way, those policies become vested, and then whether you've paid in all that money or not, if you pass away, you would get full coverage.
Another way to save is buying flowers or caskets from an outside source, or even providing your own.
I actually know a gentleman right now who's been seeking our advice as he builds his parents' own caskets. I think it's a really cool, unique gift and talent that he has that he's using to help offset costs.
Also, experts say consider having the service at a local church instead of the funeral home.
We come alongside them, maybe with their local church, to help offset some of those costs. That's, like I said, we're a community funeral home, and so we can help serve our community in that way.
Passing away is something no one can avoid, but that everyone can plan for.
The funeral is for the benefit of the survivors. It's for the living, it's not for the deceased.
In addition to funeral homes, caskets and urns can also be purchased on the internet. However, plots at cemeteries, well, those are separate fees. In Michigan, embalming is not required as long as the services are performed within 2 days. If not, then refrigeration is required. And if you want to go green, if that's something important to you, well, some funeral homes will offer a special urn burial. That's where the ashes will be planted in the ground and grown into a tree. We have more cost-saving tips at fox17online.com. In the studio, Michael Dupre, Fox 17 News.